everyone, and welcome back to our Golden 20s podcast. My name is Sadie, and I'm joined by my co-host Tegan.
Hi.
And we are sharing our glow up before a trip tips. Basically a checklist of all the things we do before we head out on a trip. I feel like also just the spring season in general is a great time to plan a glow up with summer right around the corner, shedding those winter uglies, getting into like your best mindset, your best, like looking your best, all for brighter days ahead. So we know this is like prime spring break time. Tegan and I both have we're going on a trip together to Hawaii at the end of April that we are very much looking forward to. So yeah, we're just going to chat through all the things we do to glow up before a trip. But before we get into that, we are going to kick off this episode as we always do with a connection card. So we are using the the Get Closer connection card deck from Intelligent Change. And today's question is, what makes you smile?
I mean, lots of things make me smile. Yeah. I will say, like, I just started a TikTok account with my husband where we just like review books. And I now have this thing where I'll watch the videos, and when I'm talking, I will just watch his face. And it cracks me up because he's like trying so hard to not make faces at the things I'm saying, but then that just makes it funnier to me. So I will say that gave me like quite the little chuckle today.
That's funny. You know exactly what I'm doing as soon as we stop recording. I'm going to the TikTok, watching Tyrell's face while you're talking. That's so funny. I don't know what. I smile and laugh a lot. When I'm stressed, I try to laugh it off. When I'm angry, I try to laugh it off. When I'm happy, I'm laughing. So yeah, I feel like I smile and laugh a lot, which is a good thing. But I don't know. First thing that comes to mind for me is my cat, where I just get like so overwhelmed with joy when I'm working from home and my cat's chilling next to me. I feel like I'm always just like, I'm that cat mom that's like, oh my God, you're so cute all the time, unprovoked. So that's the first thing that came to mind for me, but maybe that's also a cliche answer. I don't know.
No, I love that.
Yeah.
Got good lives. Yeah, lots of smiling happening. Just good.
Love it. Even when I read the card, I was smiling. So there you go. Just thinking about smiling makes me smile. But
yeah, exactly. Okay, great. Well, there you go. Planning travels makes me smile too. There is something like so magical, at least to me, about the prep for a trip. Like, I can make a trip give me like at least 6 months worth of happiness, like daily happiness, thinking about it, planning it, like getting all excited. And totally. I remember the first time I went to Hawaii, I found this calendar, and I used to have a 17 magazine subscription. And I was in grade 7, so I don't know how old you are in grade 7. But anyways, there was like a calendar that's like how to glow up for the summer. Or they probably didn't say glow up because I don't think they said that back in the day. But it was just like, do this on this day and this on this day. And I showed it to my mom. And I was like, I think we should do this for Hawaii. And she was like, yeah, let's do it. And for some reason, like, the calendar had such random shit on it because it was 17 magazine. Like, I remember one day was like, eat fish today because you'll get like vitamins for your skin or something. So we were like, okay, we're eating fish, but like random advice like that. But one of them was to start using a toner, which I had never even heard of toner. At this point, didn't know what it was. Went to Shoppers Drug Mart, which is like the drugstore here in Canada, and they were carrying like one toner, and I bought that one toner, and that lasted me like through high school. But
was it Clean and Clear or whatever that's brand's called?
I don't know what brand it was, but it was very like, I don't think it was actually good for your skin. I remember the bottle. It was like white with like strawberries and flowers, and like it was scented, and so it was definitely not helping the skin. But it was my first ever encounter. That was my first skincare ever, actually, thinking about it. And it was the first time I ever heard of toners. So now it's like such a special place in my heart. I got one of those like caps where you bleach your hair and you like pull the hair through the holes. So I did
Home
like bleached
highlights.
highlights. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then they turned green because I spent all day in the pool the entire vacation.
Oh gosh.
And we did an Avon order and I bought all this nail polish and stuff. So it's just very like nostalgic to me. And also I'm just like, it's ingrained in my brain. Like we've got to glow up before we get there. Obviously, like the list today is going to be a little different than like reading 17 magazine and doing at-home hair bleaching, but you know, same vibe.
That's so funny. I love that so much. I feel like I always look forward to a trip. Like having a trip booked is definitely a game changer for like just mindset, I guess,
Yeah.
where it's just something to look forward to. But I feel like the glow up for a trip is actually very stressful for me, where I feel like there's always so much to do before I actually leave. And depending how long I'm going for or where I'm going, like it's just, I don't know, such a crunch time where I actually feel like my glow up before a trip is very simple. But a lot of the things that I do are like very intentional in order for me to feel my best when I'm on the trip, because I feel like, especially like somewhere like Hawaii or anywhere tropical, I hate wearing a bathing suit. Like I have bad body image issues wearing bathing suits, but obviously that's the thing to do in these tropical destinations like Hawaii, or if you're going to an all-inclusive. So I feel like a lot of the things I do are like, how can I set myself up for success on the trip so that I'm feeling my best, I'm snapping pictures, I'm not deleting them instantly, because, you know, I've taken all the steps to kind of combat the negative body image that I like naturally face, I guess. And a lot of that's like making sure I'm going in with like my best skin game, making sure like I'm doing the waxing appointments so that I like feel confident. Maybe I get a new bathing suit, like some of the things we're going to chat through. But yeah, I feel like it's just funny that we're coming at this from different angles, but hopefully knowing that you guys find something that resonates with you in this like glow up checklist that we're going to share with you.
Yeah, I will say also, doing all of the things on this list can be pricey. And so I'm going to mention like a whole bunch of stuff. I don't necessarily do it for every single trip because I'm not a rich bitch, but it's kind of like a choose your own adventure. And, you know, if you are thinking, you know, maybe you'll be doing some of these things at home, that's totally fine as well. Because I swear some trips I've spent more on the pre-glow up than the trip themselves, but it's because I'm so excited about it. So it's really, you know, none of these are like must do's. It's just the things that we like to do.
Yeah. Awesome. So why don't we jump into the month, or maybe months plural, leading up to the trip, because I feel like there are a few things that you want to start early before you actually are like, oh God, I leave tomorrow kind of thing. So first thing on my list, this is maybe like a nerdy spot to start, but I'm always so diligent with my vitamin and supplement routine leading up to a trip. And that is because I want to build up my immune system and prevent getting sick right before I leave, or getting sick on my way there. If you're traveling by plane, especially, like we know how planes are just the worst for germs. So it's like, I'm not getting sick before I leave. I'm not getting sick while I'm there. And the best way to do that is by like, yeah, taking my vitamins ahead of time to build up my immune system. So that is the first thing that came to mind for me, where it's like, yeah, I'm not getting sick. And this is how I commit to the cause.
Yeah, I think similarly, I try to focus on like eating healthier. This is also just like that you look your best, but that you feel your best as well. And that, you know, you're not getting sick or feeling shitty on your way to the location or anything like that. I also find that drinking water is really, really important, especially just to like beat the winter uglies. A lot of the trips I take, because I'm in Canada, end up being in the winter because it's nice to escape the cold. But that means like my skin's at its dullest, at its driest, and it's just not the vibe. And so the biggest thing to combat that for me is drinking more water.
I love that. I think also exercising, this is like part of any glow up, but I feel like it also really, you might as well tap into like the high motivation leading up to a trip to also glow up your exercise routine. So that might be, again, for me, I find exercise, of course, also supports your immune system and kind of like you were saying, Tag, just like feeling and looking your best. But for me, I also find it really helps combat those body image issues I was talking about. So it's like, even if I'm not actually losing weight or like seeing difference on the scale, for lack of better term, I don't even own a scale, but you know what I mean. Even if nothing's really actually physically changing, I just feel so much better when I know I'm showing up for myself and like putting in the effort, seeing how strong I am. So exercise is just more of like a mental game for me, and I do find it really helps when I'm being consistent leading up to a trip to just feeling better in my bathing suit when I'm on that trip. It also could just be, making sure you're in good shape to be walking all day when you're traveling. Oftentimes it's like getting 20,000 steps or more a day. So I think it's also just another way to show up so that when you're on your trip, you're feeling and looking your best.
Yeah, definitely. This is another big thing for me, and I approach it from that angle where, depending on what I'm doing, that's really dictating the exercises I'm doing leading up to a trip. So one year when I went to Hawaii, I had booked like beachfront yoga. And so I did yoga every day. And it was from the angle of, I'm not going to embarrass myself doing yoga on the beach in Hawaii. So that's why I was doing it. And even this year, we're doing a hike. So I'm trying to make sure I get in my cardio and my walks, because I don't want to look like a little loser who can't even do a hike when I'm in Hawaii. And so I find that that approach can keep things very motivational and keep it off of some of the like toxic exercise things where it's like, I need to get, bikini body ready or anything like that. I find approaching it through actual activities makes it a little bit easier to maintain the motivation.
Makes sense.
I think another thing is consistent skincare. Like I already mentioned, dealing with the dry skin at this time of year, I find that like moisturizing and exfoliating is the biggest thing. And this applies to my face as well as just like my body in general. So definitely try to prioritize that.
Yeah. I think a big thing for me on this is also avoiding any new products like close to your trip. So I apparently have pretty sensitive skin. I've learned this in the past few years, and new products can break me out or not react the way I would think, or they take time to actually work. So I find this is something that if I'm wanting to switch up my skincare routine, I'll do it a few months before the trip rather than buying all the minis to test out on the trip, just in case I have some sort of reaction to them. So just wanted to mention that while we're talking skincare. I think the other thing that I do, again, this is more like a spring glow up thing in general, but aligns with our Hawaii trip, is also whiten my teeth. I only do this once a year, maybe twice a year if I feel like I want to do it again in like the early winter or like late fall season, but it's really become like a spring ritual for me because, again, I just feel so much more confident. I feel like I like what I look like in pictures more when I have shiny white teeth. So it works for me. Definitely something you could skip. I know, not everybody loves the like white strips. That's what I just do at home. I know people have teeth sensitivities, whatever, but for me, it's a game changer. And the other thing I do to like boost myself through like physical appearance.
Yeah, definitely. That's on my list as well. I do suffer from teeth sensitivity, so I have to spread it out over like months and months, but definitely something I do. Also, dry brushing, kind of related to the exfoliation when your skin's dry, and especially like if you're getting waxes leading up to a trip, that kind of exfoliation can be really important, as well as maybe doing like a facial. And I wanted to flag this again as something you shouldn't be doing right before your trip, just because, at least for me, I find facials are good in the long term, but the short term, they can often cause like breakouts for me, and I always get extractions. And so like, it's like I said, good in the long term, but leaving the spa, my face is not looking good. So definitely not something you'd want to do like the day before you leave on your trip. This is something you could be doing like a couple months before leading up to it.
Yeah, 100%. I think the last thing I like to do a few weeks out, if not like a month or over a few months leading up to the trip, are just buying new clothing items that will, I don't know, just get me excited for the trip. I love
Yeah.
shopping. We know that about me. I love having new clothes. Like I look forward to wearing new clothes as much as I look forward to actually going on the trip. So it's nice when you can just kind of like bundle all of that together. I do often use travel as like reason to justify a new purchase. This year I'm trying to be very mindful with like whatever I buy, it's not just a vacation look, like it'll be for like the spring, summer season in general. So trying to be a little bit more mindful, but in the past I've been like, oh, going to Dominican, I'm buying 2 new bathing suits. I'm buying all the beach cover-ups where I'm trying to reel it in this year. But in any case, I like to buy maybe, 1 new bathing suit if I'm going to like a beachy destination, or I like to buy like a new evening dress if I know we're going to be going for dinners, or I'll buy like a new pair of jeans or shorts. Like I'll just try to buy a few key pieces that I can wear multiple different ways. And again, just gets me excited for like matching an outfit to the plan, since I do very much go into a trip having like a idea of what we're going to do and an itinerary in mind.
Yeah, I was just thinking, I feel like the like self-care glow up element is what gets me psyched for a trip, where for you it's like the outfit planning, where I'm just like, totally. No, that's a nightmare. I don't want to try on all these clothes. So
yeah,
I
love it.
Very funny.
Yeah, I will try on outfits. No, actually not even. If I'm planning the itinerary, which usually I feel like Tag used to like plan your itinerary a few months out from the actual trip. But as soon as the itinerary is planned, and I'm this way even outside of a trip, it's like, oh, I have plans. What am I going to wear? Like that is just how my brain works. And it's no different for a trip.
Yeah, I love that. I am definitely not like that. I throw a bunch of shit in my suitcase and then I don't wear half of it.
Can't be me. I'm like, plan every outfit. I'm like, how can I style these shorts with so many different shirts? Like I'm taking pictures. I've got the camera roll like saved. So when I'm on my trip, I've only packed what I know I'll wear, and I have like reference photos, and then often reference photos tied to like the day or the thing in the activity in the itinerary I know we're gonna do. I'm very intentional with packing, but I'm also a carry-on traveler, so you kind of have to be when you only pack a carry-on. Maximize your space.
That's funny. Great. Well, I guess we can talk about the stuff that happens the week before, and this is where I think it can get stressful. I definitely understand that. For me, it takes a lot of planning. So like one big thing for me is I always, no matter what, will get a wax, because if you're watching the video, you can see like my eyebrows. I have very dark, thick hair, and I'm a pale girly. So this is just something that's important to me, especially when I'm wearing like a bikini. So it's usually like a bikini wax, eyebrow wax. I'm even toying with the idea of like doing a leg wax this time. We'll see. But the important thing with a wax is you shouldn't be getting it and then doing something immediately after. So I usually time this so that it's not the day before I go on a trip, because I find that like sitting can kind of irritate it and stuff like that. And then obviously if you're sitting on a plane, that's not ideal. So I'll usually try to get the wax a few days out, because the other thing is you're not supposed to shower for 24 hours, and we'll get more into that later. But the number one thing for me, the first thing I book, is a wax.
Yeah, same. This too, I only do I do full on Brazilian waxes, and I find that helps my body image, confidence, all of that in those like bathing suit destinations. Literally, guys, everything I do pre-glow up or pre-trip glow up is related to body image. And a wax is the same, where I'm like, I don't want to be thinking about this at all. And I just find waxes are what work for me. But to your point, Tag, like there's also like redness that lingers for a few days after you get a wax. So it's like you want to just keep that in mind and time it accordingly. But yeah, that's probably one of the only appointments I make. The other one is for my nails. I already get my nails done like monthly kind of thing. So I'll make sure to get a fresh set before a trip. And I never do pedicures unless it's before a trip. I'll also typically get a pedicure too, just so that, again, my toes are done. I don't need to think about it. If I'm not wanting to do the pedicure route, I have a bone to pick with pedicures. I don't know. I honestly find my at-home foot masks do a better job exfoliating the skin on my feet than any pedicure I've ever had. So that's why I typically don't pay for them. But the polish does last longer when you get it like shellac and whatever, which is why I'll do it for a trip, especially if I know I'm going to be like swimming in a pool in the ocean, whatever. But if I'm ever wanting to save money or can't hype myself up to do the pedicure since I don't totally believe in them, for me, I'll just paint my toes at home, but get my like fingers done ahead of time.
Yeah, definitely. That's another thing on my list. I'll usually be getting like a mani-pedi. That can be the day before kind of vibe, usually for me. I still haven't decided what colors I'm going to do for Hawaii, but we will see.
I have. I'm doing blue.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, blue. Okay.
I'm doing light blue on my fingers and then like a darkish blue, purpley indigo color on my toes.
Nice. I have one pin saved on my Pinterest that's like a bright orange, and it's like orange on the toes and then like an orange French tip on the fingers, but I'm still
cute.
On
orange
the fence,
and blue look
like,
good together.
Yeah,
Not that
it could
we
be a
need to
little tropical
like, compliment. Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember
So we'll
when I went to Bali, I got bright yellow nails, and it was like March, and my nail girl was like, I hope you're going away. Like, I'm not letting you wear these out unless you're going on a trip. I was like,
That's
you know the
funny.
vibes. Like, yeah, you need the bright, fun nails.
Yeah, exactly. I think another thing for me is I book a haircut. And this is just because my hair is so thick and it grows so quickly that if I'm going somewhere hot, I need to have it significantly shorter or I will go crazy. So I have a haircut booked. I like don't usually dye my hair. I usually will like hope it just gets lighter on the trip, but that's another thing I think you could time to be like the week before.
Yeah. I'm actually funny. I feel like I get my haircut like a month before or a few weeks. I always hate my hair right after a haircut. Like I got my haircut at the beginning of February and I'm just starting now to like it and it's like a month later. It's
That's
so
funny.
weird. But I do feel like that's also something that I notice in photos of me is when my like hair is just all dead end. So I feel like a haircut makes the list. I feel like I just do it a few
earlier
weeks out. Yeah. Earlier.
Yeah. That's fair.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. I feel like that's all I really do. We have on the list here like stocking up on beauty travel essentials, and I feel like that's actually a good one that it again can take time and like be stressful to be like, oh my god, do I have everything? But me being me, I always have like a running list of everything I'm gonna pack, and then I can check things off as I buy them in the week or a few weeks leading up to it. For me, I feel like I really try to save money on this. I used to be like that girl who was like, I need the mini size in the actual packaging of the product from Sephora. Like this was literally me going to Bali in 2020. But since then I've realized that it's completely unnecessary and like it's okay to just buy the mini refillable bottles from like the dollar store and fill them with the product if you already have the full size product. So that's more the route I go now. But I feel like there are things that you maybe want to buy here and take with you, especially if you know they're things that are going to be expensive in that destination, like sunscreen, bug spray, that sort of thing. Yeah, so just wanted to mention that on the beauty travel essentials.
Yeah, definitely. I think like some more things I'll do the week before. I get an eyelash lift and tint. And this is something I've only done like the last couple of trips, but it really makes a difference in my photos. And especially if you're going to like a beach destination, like I'm not a wearing makeup on the beach kind of gal. I'm a barefaced girl. And so it just really makes a difference in that way. I also know lots of people get spray tans before they go. I've never had a spray tan, but I've heard for like the body confidence thing, because I know they like contour your body as well. That's another big thing that lots of people do. I also think the week before it can be good to do like a face mask or a hair mask, especially if you're like traveling in winter like we are, dealing with the dry skin.
100%. So that takes us to the night before our trip, which is such an exciting feeling. I feel like talking about like all those masks and like the physical glow up, I feel like I love taking my everything shower right before a trip, like the night before. And that's to do like my final shave, to really wash my hair, to do the whole 9 yards, the everything of everything showers, just so that you are in like tip top shape for your travel day, of course, but then for like your first day of actually getting there and being on your trip. So that's like number one thing, and I look forward to so much. I'm also typically by this time so sweaty from like packing, doing all the last minute errands, you know what I mean? Where it's nice just to like seal it all, be like, it's done. The suitcase is zipped and I've jumped in the shower and I'm jumping right into bed.
Yes, the best. I also I'm like recently became a fake tan girl over the past like 6 months. So I think I'm going to do a fake tan to try and help my like paleness and winter ugliness. So definitely that, and then rinse that off in the everything shower. I also always blow out my hair just because I can usually make it last a while. Obviously, if you're going to like a beach destination, your hair is just going to get like wet in the water pretty much immediately. But at least for your flight, your first little touchdown in wherever you're traveling to, your hair can look nice. So those are definitely on my list as well.
Love it. I think the other thing on my list is making sure all of my makeup brushes are washed and clean and ready to go before I pack them away. So usually I do this like the night before just because I'm using them up until that point and I want them like tip-top shape before I pack them. So that's on my list for the night before. As well as, this is maybe like off topic, but I also make sure to update my phone and go through my camera roll to make sure I have like, essentially if there's a chance that an app stops working because it's out of date, like that is my biggest fear, especially if it's like something I need in the airport or like I need to call an Uber and it's like, oh, you need to update your app first. That's just, I don't know, my biggest trip anxiety. So I make sure to update my iOS, update all my apps, everything the night before, as well as free up space on my phone too, because again, I don't want to be on the airplane trying to take a photo of the nice scenic view out my window and it's like, oh, your camera roll's full. Oh, your phone storage is full. So making sure I'm just set up for success on all techie front.
Yes, sort of related to that, I will check into my flight as soon as possible to try and get the best seats. So that's another big thing for me. And then having everything like packed and ready. I'm a very like anxious sleeper where if things aren't packed and ready, I'm not going to sleep well. So it's like making sure I'm checked in for my flight. I have my passport and everything's packed and like set at the front door. And like even like my outfit is there beside it and everything's organized. That's a really big thing for me, especially if you're flying in the morning. Like my flight for this trip leaves at like 10 p.m. So probably won't be like set up the night before, but you get the idea. Just making sure that you're not rushing around your house leaving for the airport.
Yeah. I think that takes me to my last point, is making sure that I'm prioritizing sleep, or at least trying to your point, Tag. I don't always get the best sleep, but it's like I'm still putting in the effort to go to bed early and set myself up for a good sleep so that I'm well rested and ready for a day of travel ahead. So yeah, often that just looks like going through my checklist, also making sure everything's packed and ready to go, and then turning out the lights at a decent time to get in a good sleep.
Yes, I love it. Well, there you go, everyone. Those are our little tips and tricks for a glow up. So hopefully over the next few episodes, we'll just continue to get like hotter and hotter till we go on our trip.
Yeah. So if you're not watching on video, we encourage you to start now.
Start with next week once we start the glow up. This will be the low point, hopefully. But yeah, that's everything. We are going to be doing lots of episodes about travel. We know that you guys love travel episodes, so that's definitely a priority for us. So definitely stay tuned for that. Also, check out our social media because I'm sure we'll be like posting stuff there as well. We're at our Golden 20s on almost all of the platforms. We're also on Patreon, which is the best way to show your support for the podcast for as little as $2 a month. And the episodes drop early there and they're ad free. So usually the episodes will be available on Sunday nights. So you get to listen a couple days early, which is nice. We drop our episodes every other Tuesday, so make sure you're following and subscribe to us so you see when those episodes drop. And that's it for this week, so thanks for listening.
See you next time. I finally found something to say.
Yay.
See you next time.
Perfect. Bye.